Bless the Lord, O my soul. All that is within me, bless his holy name. Bless the Lord, O my soul, and forget not all his benefits. Forget not. That's the theme of our shared thinking today. Today, the 5th of July, 2 years ago, a man died in an Indian prison. We have forgotten him. His name was Father Stan Swamy. I quoted from Psalm 103, which exhorts us not to forget, or to put it more positively, to remember. In this context, let me also make a reference to the sacrament that Jesus instituted, where he said, "Do this in remembrance of me." Jesus also realized the human weakness. We tend to forget. I had the occasion to meet with Father Stan Swamy only on a couple of occasions, and that was in the context of certain seminars and workshops. So I can't really claim to have developed any acquaintance with him. Nor can I claim to have supported his very relevant and powerful mission. He devoted his life to empowering the tribals of Jharkhand and Chhattisgarh in their struggle to protect their basic facilities and rights enshrined in the Constitution of India, but are not available to them. I also must confess before all of you the fact that I could do nothing. After Stan Swamy was arrested on the 8th of October 2020 and put in prison. He was arrested under the draconian UAPA, Unlawful Activities Prevention Act. And until he died on the 5th of July 2021, that's exactly 2 years ago, I could do nothing. I tried to keep in touch with or keep abreast of the developments concerning him. And particularly moving for me was the fact that this old and ailing man, he had developed Parkinson's disease by then and could barely hold a glass of water and drink water from it. He requested for the rare luxury of being permitted to use straw, drinking straw, but that was denied to him. Imagine, for a person to be booked under UAPA, it means that he is a threat to national security. This 84-year-old man, a victim of Parkinson's disease, one who cannot hold a glass of water and drink from it, is a threat to the security of India. I should be crying, no? No, I don't want to cry. That's why I'm laughing. Father Stan Swamy died in custody. Well, he was in judicial custody. So strictly speaking, it cannot be called a custodial death. Now, when I think of this event, I think of this in terms of utter failure. As I have mentioned already, my own personal failure in not being able to do anything. Secondly, the failure, I don't know if it's failure, but let me call it that for the time being, of the Catholic Church. During all this while that Stan Swamy was arrested and he was confined to prison, and subsequently it's been proved that material was planted on his computer, and therefore it has turned out to be an entirely fabricated case to shut out an inconvenient old man. The mighty Catholic Church did not utter a word. Bishops run to Delhi, they try to, lobby with the government. The CBCI is politically very active. The Kerala bishops are politically very, very assertive. Sometimes they speak more politically than politicians themselves. Not one of them uttered a word about Father Stan Lord Swamy. But the Christian community did not utter a word. They forgot him completely. And forget not, as the psalmist says, all your blessings. Forget not. Well, what about the media? The media did not waste even a square inch of space on Father Stan Swamy. The media would lavishly allocate space to cover the minutest movements on the part of the Prime Minister. The Fourth Estate has absolutely no value for the plight or concern for the plight of a citizen of India. And especially if that citizen has, through his commitment to justice, incurred the displeasure of the powers that be. Father Stan Swamy's plight is, in a way, an indirect condemnation of the media in this country. So, I have to here also make a mention of the Indian courts. When the news of Father Stan Swamy's death reached the Supreme Court of India, the judges showed great shock, and some of them even expressed indignation. But the court in this country could not relieve the suffering of this man to the extent of making available to him or underlining his right to have the facility of a straw to drink water with. The system. Now, my dear friends, it is not Father Stan Swamy that I am mourning today. I am mourning ourselves, our plight. The life of a person like Father Stan Swamy means nothing to us. How readily, how easily, and how completely we can forget people like him. And it is for the reason that the Christian community has absolutely no value for those who stand for truth, justice, and God's righteousness to be available especially to the poor, the lowly, and the underclass of India. It's precisely this that constitutes the loudest condemnation of the Christian community, and also it will make sure that no one ever stands up for truth and justice, though Jesus said, "Seek the kingdom of God and His justice, and all these things will be added unto you." We quote it with great felicity, but we don't try to understand what it means, and certainly we don't even practice what little we understand. So in a sense, Father Stan's death is a condemnation of the Christian community in India, irrespective of church denominational differences. But there is one aspect of this situation which I want to highlight, and on that I'll close. As I mentioned earlier, Father Stan Swamy was arrested under UAPA. The peculiar thing about this draconian legislation is that the arrested person or the accused is presumed guilty until proved innocent. Usually it's the other way around. The bottom line of the judicial treatment of any human being on planet Earth is that you are presumed innocent until proved guilty. But in the case of UAPA, as well as in the case of sexual harassment related cases, far more in the case of UAPA than in any other piece of legislation, you are presumed guilty until proven innocent. Given that, and this is what pains me most, Father Stan Swamy has died as a condemned man. He has gone with the label of guilt stuck on his forehead. But subsequent developments, subsequent revelations have proved that he was absolutely innocent. But in the eye of the law, in the eye of the state, he is still a guilty man. Unfortunately, the legal system in this country does not allow his innocence to be established. For the reason that when a person dies, all judicial processes regarding him are suspended. What I would have liked to see is the dead Father Stan Swamy being put on trial under UAPA, the state marshalling all its evidence, and through due legal procedure, the guilt or otherwise, or the innocence or otherwise of Father Stan Swamy be established. Of course, I have no doubt at all that he would be acquitted. This would be the bottom line justice that we can do to Father Stan Swamy, and at least the Catholic Church in this country should be requesting on bended knees, crawling before the authorities of this country, that Father Stan Swamy, the late Father Stan Swamy, be put on trial. We are not asking for any great favor. We only want the truth to be established. Was he or wasn't he innocent? But I'm afraid under the existing legal provisions, this is a non-starter. And therefore, the label of guilt will remain permanently attached to Father Stan Swamy. And I can't really think of a greater injustice than this. But I tell you, far more than what the government has done to Father Stan Swamy, it's what the Christian community, particularly the official of the Christian community, that has done to Swamy that pains me most. It has completely and conveniently forgotten the saintly Jesuit priest who at least took his vocation as a servant of God seriously and embodied, incarnated God's passionate commitment to justice, especially for the poor and the oppressed, the powerless of this land. And he had to pay dearly for it. And Father Stan Swamy was aware of this. They anticipated this. And I remember one of his statements in which he says, this is what I'm doing. This is why I'm doing what I'm doing. And I'm willing to pay any price for it. Repeat, and I'm willing to pay any price for it. I can only salute the memory of Father Stan Swamy. I speak as one who does not have his backbone. I speak as one who did not devote a lifetime to the pursuit of God's justice for the poor and the downtrodden. I speak as one who has failed Father Stan Swamy. But his memory remains very dear to me, and therefore I'll continue to remember him on the 5th of July every year. Not that it makes any difference to him, but it makes a big difference to me. At least it will remind me of what I should have been, and beyond that, what every Christian should be. And I quote again the words of Jesus: "Seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you." Father Stan Lord Swamy is dead. Long live Father Lord Stan Swamy.